And good evening. We're live now.
Yeah, we are.
Good evening. I'll say it again. This is a re-recording from one that was done Sunday, because the file was technical issues. The file's there. It's not in sync, and it's a case of bye. So
That's a song.
do you like that? Yeah,
I did. Yeah, it was very good.
In sync. So this is still
How long have you been trying to work that out for?
2 days.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is still a weekly podcast. It's just coming in the middle of the week. But we will be back Sunday with another one. But it's going to be a Euros update because Vanarama and League South and North and the rest aren't active the 10th of July. So that'll be the following week.
I don't actually know why they just don't release all the fixtures at the same time.
It would make sense.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than I get the Premier League. I get maybe even like having a different week. But why then wait 2 further weeks for the non-league fixtures? Bearing in mind that everybody's trying to plan pre-season friendlies at this point.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's just because it might be a cluster because you can have Premier League, Championship,
but then
League 2, and then
then just do Premier League, then do Championship League 1 and 2, and then the week after, not 2 weeks later, because by that point you're going to be. Lewis has got pre-season friendly at some point soon.
16th of July.
Yeah.
We're going to be there.
We will.
But yeah, I get what you mean. It would make more sense. But yes, so we're going to go through the format. So this one now is the official Football League Adventures podcast.
Take two.
So. Mike is going to be covering Championship, ins, outs, who's going up, who's going down, and standout players, standout teams, who we think are going to be. Then I've got League 2, which will be the same format, and then we're going to do League 1 together. My League 1 may change yet again because it did change Sunday. It may change again now. So.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I'm a little bit similar to you now.
This one. But we're going to start with Mike. He's going to kick off the Championship. You're there, but you're there. Yeah. But yes, so Mike, over to you. Starting with transfers.
Start with transfers.
Well,
the thing is, you see, the thing with the transfers in the Championship kind of links into my point of prediction. So. Leeds rumoured to have massive financial issues as being one of the teams they came down from the Premier League a couple of seasons ago now as we record today. And first lot of the parachute payments kind of puts them in a win or bust scenario.
Yeah, because that was last season.
Yeah, so and the way the parachute payment works for anyone who doesn't follow the English football pyramid is you get quite a large sum of money the first season to help cope with that transition between losing, effectively £200 million. You never had the playoff final called that. And the more modest money in the Championship. But if the longer you stay, the parachute payments only run for 3 years, so you get quite a large payment the first year. That payment halves for the second year, and then it halves again for the third year. So realistically, any club that doesn't go straight back up first season runs into a bit of a problem.
Majorly.
Because they're still on Premier League money, most of them. They generally are, for the first season, is retain most of their fan base. What their class is like,
the hardcore.
Yeah, they retain the hardcore, a little bit of the fair weather, I guess you'd call them.
Fair weather. Yeah.
Every team that comes out of the Championship, the Premier League gets a spike in attendances because a lot of them they get a little bit more away fans and they want to see their team play the likes of United, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, those sorts of teams, and any other rivalries that happens to be around with them as well. Especially for Leeds, you have your United, you have your Liverpools, bits and pieces. So my concern for Leeds this season was were they going to be gutted? And as it kind of suggested on when we recorded this originally on Sunday, that I based my prediction for the season one way, depending on what the next few days were for transfers whether that was going to turn or not. For Leeds fans, I think the worst case scenario has now happened. So they've just lost Archie Gray, kind of Sunday, Monday. He's gone to Tottenham for reported about 30 mil up front with another 10 mil and kind of assorted add-ons. They've rejected a bid from Brighton for Somerville. They've rejected another bid from Brighton for another player, Rutter, and De Zerbi at Marseille, starting his tenure off, and he's looking at their goalkeeper.
Yeah,
French goalkeeper. He's the guy for me currently. I know you've got Trafford at Burnley, but he's probably the best goalkeeper outside of the Premier League.
Yeah,
in England, and it's so. I originally had Leeds finished top.
Yeah,
based on the fact they're going to be gutted, I would say they're probably now. And I run through this when I did the predictions. They're probably now maybe not quite even shooing for the playoffs. If they're going to get the playoffs, they're going to probably be in that very last position.
Yes, if they can't
hold of these players.
The thing is, they did the out of contract list yesterday.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, there is a lot of players that are out of contract that could do a turn for a Championship club. David De Gea still hasn't got a club.
I don't know how he still doesn't have a club.
That's a perfect replacement. I know he's probably not going to go there, but yeah, get rid of that. You're bringing De Gea.
Surprised he isn't ended up in the league in Europe somewhere, but it's the same as Burnley, really. They've made two signings, which they made their two loan players for last season permanent, which on the face of it looks a little bit on the bizarre side because both players didn't make more than 20 first team appearances last season. Yeah. But that's that Premier League parachute money because, the Championship, as of kind of when I did this research ready for Sunday, it spent 51 mil total, and Burnley had 30 mil of that just in these two players. Yeah. Coventry have picked up a couple of players here and there for about 5 mil. Borough have picked up a couple of players for 5 mil, including a freebie from Leeds. But when you also learn them through the transfer room, there's a couple of Watford's best players are rumoured to be heading abroad.
Yeah, I saw some of that. I can't remember his name. Kone's looking, and I think another Brazilian as well.
Yes, one of their quite pacey wingers.
Yeah.
So again, it's how well do these clubs get hold of these players? Because Sheffield United have got a problem coming down. The season that they got promoted, if they hadn't got promoted, they would have been in administration and bits and pieces. And I don't think they're in a position to sign too many players. They lost their goalkeeper to West Ham, who did a really good job. Wes Fodingham, and he did a really good job for him last season. And I was very surprised, to be fair, to see the fact that they benched him for the last 6 games of the season, because he wasn't for blame when they were shipping 5 or 6. He wasn't the play. He wasn't the problem.
The defence was shocking.
They came up. They got lucky to go up. Decided to bank all the money, and then come back down. But he wasn't to blame.
No.
The games I watched for Brighton, when I watched them with Brighton, he was keeping them in a lot of the games. They got turned over. They had their player sent off really early. He made 5 or 6 really good saves. So again, I don't know where they're going to get that replacement from.
It's whoever wants to. Championship clubs will get players, and when they do get players, they find gems. But
you've got 24 clubs looking for those gems.
Exactly. But you always know players will look at clubs that have come down.
Yeah, they'll always do that because they can pay the most money.
Yeah, and then they got the potential to go back up. But I don't think the 3 that came down, maybe one out of the 3, will go straight back up, and that's we're saying in a minute because we're not on that part. Yeah, but I think I know who will go straight back.
Yeah, I mean, I've done one set of predictions based on what I thought transfers were going to be like. But the way the parachute payment works, do you think it creates an unfair advantage for the Premier League team? Certainly, the first season
first season, yes. Second season, no. I don't think there's a second season because you'd like to think they've got all their finances in order. But I mean, like Leeds, they're going to have their finances in order because they're getting ripped apart.
Yeah,
they could.
But at what point do they get their finances in order, but they stop being competitive? Yeah, we've seen it with teams that have come out of the Premier League, certainly in the last 10 years, that have gone all the way down the football ladder.
Yeah,
one of the teams that we'll talk about in a minute ended up in League 2.
Yeah, Yeah, I think this season they'll struggle. The next season they will not be competitive. I don't think they're going to go up unless who's their manager?
Daniel Farquhar.
Yeah, Lord Farquhar.
About faux pas on YouTube censoring that.
Yeah, I think he will probably have this season to work with what he's got, and if he doesn't get promotion, they get rid of him.
I personally don't think I'll be surprised if he's still there at Christmas. Realistically, if they're not in the playoff places come Christmas, he'll be gone.
Yeah, you could probably see that.
The argument's been made. If they're in this point now where that club is being gutted, they are. I mean, most Premier League teams have come down because of the first season are in a win, kind of a win or bust scenario. But I really feel like Leeds, it is a win or bust scenario. If they don't come out of the league this season, they will become probably just a mid-table championship team.
Yeah, and then I don't think they'd take another 16 years to get back in there.
No, they'll become part of that group that which we'll talk about later. There's about 10 teams that generally from one season to another will be somewhere between 4th and 12th. Yeah, for example.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not a bad shout. So obviously transfer wise, we've sort of gone through that. Who do you see pushing for playoffs, and who do you see fighting? I know fighting relegation. I know one team will probably go straight back down. Yeah, I think we both agree with that.
Yeah, so you see the teams that come down with Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. The only team I see bouncing straight back is probably Burnley. Yeah, they've still got a relative nucleus of the squad that absolutely ripped through the Championship. I think the key for them is who they're going to get in as manager. Bearing in mind they went all guns in on Van Nistelrooy and he turned them down.
He's going to be anointed by the coaching staff.
He is, yeah. So that tells you something. I get he's an ex-United player, but he's gone as rather be a member of a team's coaching staff than manage the team outright. And it also whether Burnley can keep up with their goalkeeper, because he's made.
Newcastle have been looking at him.
Yeah, I know they've just taken some guy from Forest, but he's still very much in demand. He's a good young player. He's been part of England squads. I'll be very surprised if he's still there coming into the transfer window.
Yeah,
I think Luton will establish themselves back in the Championship.
Yeah, they've got a good manager.
They've got a good manager. They've got a good team. They finance themselves well. They'll be disappointed to lose Ross Barkley, who has now gone to Aston Villa.
He did.
Yeah, he signed a Villa.
He was good for them.
He was really good for them, and I kind of thought if they could keep hold of him, he would definitely be a standout player in the Championship. But he's gone back to Aston Villa, which didn't work out really for him last time. But good this time. Say la vie. So my original prediction, and I say original before Leeds were absolutely gutted, was for Leeds and Burnley to go up 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm now going for. Based on the last few days, I'm going for Burnley to go up top, and then Middlesbrough to come up second. Like the job that Carrick's done with that squad. They took a lot of Premier League teams quite deep in the FA Cup games over the last 2 seasons. That includes beating Spurs.
Yeah.
I think they took Luton. Luton, possibly Fulham, I think, as well. So I think they've built this season to go up.
Okay.
They've taken on a new striker whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce because I will absolutely butcher it, but I think he'll be a real big player for them this season. I think that's kind of missing piece of the puzzle. And then playoff wise, I'm now going for West Brom to go off and buy the playoffs, with the rest of the teams kind of being Norwich, Millwall, and then maybe kind of Leeds its last place.
He listened to me because I said West Brom.
Well, originally it was Leeds, Burnley, and Borough to go up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if I've now got Burnley and Middlesbrough going up 1 and 2, I kind of need to get a third team. And I do think West Brom kind of fits that. They're a good squad, good team. Yeah. They don't ship many goals. Defensively quite solid, which will do you well in the Championship. Yeah, because let's face it, any team in the Championship, you know just from how competitive you're going to lose at least 10 games. It's the number of kind of incremental points through the draws you can pick up.
Yeah.
If you can end up drawing more games than you lose, and add on to those wins, that generally sends you in a pretty good stead. Because last season was the first time you've had like 4 teams nearly on 90 points.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't happen often.
No, it's a lot more competitive, the Championship, than kind of what we saw a little bit last season. But outside of that top 4, the rest of the places for the playoffs were really quite strong. You'd also have Hull maybe as a bit of an outsider for the bottom of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But having sacked for senior,
I
thought
still
that was really silly.
They missed playoffs by points.
Yeah.
A point.
And I thought it was really harsh. They will struggle having lost Carvalho going back to Liverpool. But I think he didn't carry them as much as some of the signings can do. He popped up with some really important goals, one against Ipswich, which is an absolute world-class right in the top right-hand corner. Yeah. But they are well set. So
yeah. For me, Burnley, and I'm going to go Burnley, West Brom, Norwich.
The perennial up and down squad.
Yeah.
Because they were playoffs last season. I think, weren't they, Norwich?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, I don't think they're established themselves. They've beaten through the trap of the parachute payments. So that's it. I can't look past West Brom.
Yeah.
At this present moment.
And then going down.
Well, of the teams that come up from League One, you've got Portsmouth, which is the aforementioned team talked about, that fell literally right out of the Premier League back down into League Two. They've come up 2-1 in the last couple of seasons. I fancy them to kind of establish themselves.
Yeah,
I think they'll be.
They won't go down.
No, they won't go down. They'll be fine. To refer to my notes, and then you've got Derby and Oxford, which is there's always one wild card team in the football league. Whether it's Ipswich going up back to back, whether it was Luton going up in the playoffs, you've got Crawley going out of League Two, which we'll get to in a little bit, which was a bit surprising. So great for Oxford to be up there. Town deserves to see some Championship football, and it's probably long overdue for them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I can't see them staying in the league this season. I think they'll go back down, and I think they'll probably go down as the bottom team.
We won't say they go down with the lowest points.
No, not going to do that. I wasn't that far away. Sheffield United. I had Luton, but Sheffield United didn't really weren't really far away from it, was they? Really.
So mine isn't changing.
So,
I've gone.
I haven't done the rest of mine. You count yourself in here?
Oh yeah.
No, I've only said he's come up.
You just said he's gone down.
Yeah. Oxford.
Oh, go on then.
Yeah.
Go on then.
That's all right. Let me have my moment to get crucified, please. Thank you.
Go on then.
Derby will go down, and I don't see Plymouth staying up. The Wayne Rooney experiment won't work. They survived by the skin of their teeth last season. They're going to go straight back down. The bottom's going to fall out this season.
How dare you say Derby? Okay, so mine is Oxford, Plymouth, Bristol City.
Yeah, no, I still don't agree with this.
Bristol City.
I've sat on this for a few days and I still don't agree with it.
Bristol City have had their chance now, where the first couple of seasons they were in the Championship, they had that little flutter with the playoffs, and they kept falling short.
A little flutter. They were there consistently for a good.
They were there, but they dropped out, and then they struggled last season, and I don't see them improving, and I think they are going to struggle. I could be wrong. I think they're going to go down with Oxford and Plymouth.
Just when you look at the two squads between Derby and Bristol City, they've got a better squad.
They've got a better squad, but you've got to think Derby are out of their financial problems now. They've got new ownership from what they had last season, which sort of settled them a little bit. And yes, they didn't run away with League One, because I think it came out of them all Bolton getting that playoff position, automatic playoff position, and Derby nicked it. But no, I think Derby will be fine. They'll fight relegation, but I think they're finished just above.
I feel like they're going to become the yo-yo team for a couple of seasons between the Championship and League One. Just, yes, they've come out at the end of their financial issues, but they don't have the wiggle room based on the Championship's profit sustainability, where you can, it's like 15 mil over like 3 seasons.
Yep.
They don't have, at this point in time, the wiggle room financially to bring in the calibre of players that I think they'll need to stay up this season and establish themselves. I feel like they're going to come down. They will then go straight back up, and then the second time they come up, so next season when they come up, they'll then be able to establish themselves because they'd have gone past the point of where that financial problems will hurt them for profit sustainability, and then they'll establish themselves and start climbing up the league. I just feel like this is kind of just one season too early for them.
Okay, so we're going to remember that now. So on
Of course we are.
20 minutes and 30 seconds, I think he started saying that about Derby. Go back to that, and then when they've secured themselves for this season and they're all good, you can then rinse him in the comments about and go, Mike, you were wrong.
Yeah, you wait till you do your bit in League Two, thank you very much, and then we'll see who's wrong, and you can come with pie later on. Thank you very much.
Okay, and that's not a bad way to lead into League Two, which I have my notes there, which is in a nice, lovely leather binder from YouTube. Thank you.
Oh, come on.
So
that is the cheapest of cheap plugs. That's a big photo.
Bang, bang. So I have got League Two, and I've got sort of the opening day fixtures, which, to be fair, there's some big opening day fixtures in League Two. So I mean, you've got Wimbledon, Colchester, Barrow Crew, Cheltenham, Newport, which Newport we will be trying to go to this season.
Yeah, we will.
Doncaster.
Well, if you can't get to the other Welsh, if you can't get tickets to the other Welsh club, might as well do.
Hey, Wrexham fans.
Yeah.
And then we've got Doncaster, Accrington Stanley, Fleetwood Grimsby, Gillingham Carlisle, Harrogate, Bromley. I know Bromley isn't that sounding because they're not that far from Crawley, really.
No, not really. I'm not entirely sure what you're doing right now.
No, I don't either. MK Dons Bradford, Salford Vale, Tranmere Notts, and then Walsall Morecambe, and then Chesterfield Swindon on the Friday night. So that's the opening day fixtures.
What do you make of what Sky are doing? Because they've also just announced today that
they just announced all the live games, haven't they?
Yeah, but 3 occasions between these opening weekend and the end of September, all games from all 3 leagues
live on
TV.
Staggered times though.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of just about to mention. One, I think it's great exposure for all of the clubs. But two, the excitement of the opening day generally means that having all games live probably won't hurt attendances because everybody wants to go see the opening game. You know, you want to create an atmosphere. It's sunny weather. It's nice. You can get into the stadium, make a day of it. It's opening day and whatnot, and potentially even go, depending on what's local to you, go catch 2 games. Come on to that later. But do you not? So the question is though, as you get further into the season, bearing in mind that you then get a lot more of the Premier League games become quite built around the Big Six.
Yeah.
Does that then impact on attendances further down?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, it's good for the people that can't get to the games. So, you know, that they get to see their team live on Sky, whereas before it was very random and it was the odd picked game here and there. But no, I see it being a good thing. Like I said, fans that can't get there, they can be like, right, Saturday morning at 12:30, I can watch Middlesbrough, QPR, or West Brom, Norwich.
Yeah.
So they get to see them for the ones who can get there. League One is really good as well because that's 5:30 kickoff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So 5:30 kickoff. So that's really good. You've got the evening games, so anyone that works on a Saturday can then be like, I can get, but I can go and watch them at 5:30.
Yeah.
And then you've got League Two, which kick off at 3 o'clock, which generally most fans would probably have tickets to. because they're not that expensive to go to.
But do you think this is going to end the 3 p.m. blackout? So, for anybody who doesn't know, in England, TV companies cannot show any live football on a Saturday
At 3 o'clock.
at 3 o'clock. That's why, for start times for games, especially within the Premier League, have been 12:30, 5:30.
Yeah.
So, do you think by Sky doing what they're doing, they're trying to
will
kind of force the issue and end this 3 p.m. blackout, or do you think it will just be Premier League that will be blacked out?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the pyramid will carry on TV.
Yeah, Premier League will always be a 3 p.m. blackout because Sky. If Sky did it as a non, didn't black it out, then obviously they're going to get.
It's not Sky that blacks it out; it's legal law, isn't it?
Yeah. So no, that's Premier League's always going to be like that. But I think it's really good for the Championship to League Two because you get to see more of the players that you wouldn't normally see on TV. All these young players that are on loan from like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, all those sort of players. You can then sit there on a Saturday afternoon, pick what game you're going to watch. And if you get
if
bored,
that's format, I think they use that format.
I
used to love that. It's just 8 boxes, all showing different games of football. And if you were sad enough, a bit like me, you would just literally leave it on that screen and just watch all the boxes on the TV.
I think they will. I think that's what you'll be able to do because it's Sky Sports Plus. So I think you'll press the red button or whatever it is still, and I think you'll be able to choose what game you want to watch. Because if they did do that, all fans are going to be like, I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Wimbledon, Tranmere. I want to watch my team. For people that are fans of MK Dons, not the original Wimbledon.
Do those people exist?
About 6,000 of them every Saturday at the
Stadium MK.
Stadium MK.
I don't think he's got a from memory says
MK Arena.
That'll be one. Might as well call it the Crawley Arena instead of stuff we've got.
Yeah. But I think you'll be able to choose what game you want to watch, and it'd just be a menu brought up, and you can just.
I mean, the positive thing is it's a lot more money for those lower league clubs.
Yeah.
And exposure. You've seen what the
200 million deal.
Something silly.
They signed, and they get they all 3 divisions get a
revenue share.
Get a revenue, which I personally think the revenue share should be more for League One and League Two.
Yeah.
Because the Championship was always getting shown on Sky.
Yeah, and the Championship, they get a lot more of the kind of loan players from the Premier League clubs, and there's obviously the way the parachute payments work is should a club get promoted, the money does filter through. It's not a massive amount, it does filter.
Yeah.
But I suppose for the League One and League Two sides, it's brand exposure.
Yeah.
You can see what the Disney documentary's done for Wrexham and the documentary for Salford. To be fair, they're 2 of the most recognisable lower league clubs.
Salford. We've got on to Salford actually because he doesn't agree with what I'm going to say.
I do not.
But yes, I mean and I think there's going to be a lot of players in the division this year that are going to stand out. All the young players that have been released are coming through now.
Yeah, because the 2 clubs turn their players turn over the majority of their squads most seasons because they're on 1-year contracts. Yeah. Financials and where they finish in the table. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good thing, and you get to see all your favourite players live at 3 o'clock and 5:30. So as Mark said, coming on to that, the 12:30, 3 and 5:30, it now means if you want to, you can go to your favourite team in the Championship at 12:30, and if your local side in League One and League Two are playing at 5:30, you can make your way over to there and watch them. Because the good thing about the lower you go down, it's not that expensive.
No.
You're looking at £30 a ticket. I went to Southampton last season and I paid £30 for me and £15 for my daughter. You do that at a Premier League game, you're looking at £45 for a ticket for the mid-table teams.
Yeah, well, it's probably
and
lower league, the lower table.
25 5? Because our kids, our oldest two, would be classed as young adults now.
Yeah, they would. To be fair, yeah,
So you're nearly paying adult prices.
Yeah, they don't hit that category. And most football clubs ignore this category between kind of 12 and 18. The category doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Tend to charge them more because they're slightly tall.
Yeah. But yes, but I'm gonna.
So who you got going on? Let's start there before we start rolling through the controversy.
So I've got going up is Swindon.
Yeah, can see that.
Gillingham.
Yeah, they are due. I think Gillingham, to be fair.
Yeah. Doncaster.
Yeah.
And then playoff wise, because it's 4 clubs that go up from League 2.
So it makes League 2 quite exciting, to be fair, because even when you get towards the end of the season, it's normally not that big of a gap between the team that's kind of 4th and the team that's 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd. So it makes it quite interesting at the end of the season.
And Grimsby playoffs. Grimsby playoffs.
No.
I think they're gonna have their moment of going back up. So that's who I'm going with. Now going down.
Okay. So this timestamp, we're going to call it 31 and 24 seconds.
Bromley.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Well, how many teams go down? It's 2, isn't it?
2 go down.
Yeah.
Because it was Bromley and who came up? Bromley and
Off the top of my head, I completely escaped.
No, it's gone. I'm going to go Salford.
Huh?
Salford going down.
I'm sorry, you need to repeat that for everybody to hear you.
Salford City.
Not a chance.
Going down.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
I did.
You criticise me for saying Derby are coming out of the Championship, and then you go for an absolute. It's not even a curveball. It's just, and I'm going to use the word nonsensical because it is. They're not going down.
Do you want to bet on it?
Yeah.
£10 says Salford go down.
And anybody that knows the history of bets between me and they will know that I am 0-3 currently.
Do you want to be 0-4? Or do you want to be 3-1?
I'll take it.
£10.
Yeah. I'm going to take that because they're not going to go down. They're just not. They're not.
The whole Salford City dream is over. They've had their chance and they didn't. So,
although it'd be amusing if someone tagged Gary Neville in this and with your prediction of Salford going down, I would like to hear his response.
I'd be prepared for his rebuttal, and I will give mine back. Right. Actually, speaking of like pundits and everything like that, and other YouTubers, do you know the one YouTuber, football pundit, that I hate, cannot stand because he is so two-faced about his club, and just everything he talks about is just utter rubbish that comes out of his mouth. Rory Jennings. Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for that response to come through shortly.
I'd gladly sit in a room with him face to face and say to him, "You know nothing about football, my son. You know nothing." Because the stuff you come out with is just utter rubbish.
Where did this come from?
Because you said about Neville and as a pundit, and I just had to get it out.
You just had to put your 2 pence worth in, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
well, I'm sure at some point, if this individual sees this, he can set that up as a live debate.
Tag him in it. Tag him. At this moment, tag him.
I'd adjudicate that. Why not?
YouTube boxing coming up.
You've done it.
Right, so that's League 2. Transfer wise, standout players, that sort of thing. Clubs have made moves, but I'd say sort of standout wise, Barrow, Conor Mahoney has come down from Blackburn.
Yeah. He'll do well in that division.
Yeah, you got culture, got Matt Macy. the Doncaster one I like because you know he will get you 25 goals a season still. It's Billy Sharp.
That's why you picked Doncaster to go up.
Yeah, just because of Billy Sharp being a big reason and how good they were towards the end of last season.
Yeah, you talk about you talk about momentum. Yeah, they had real good momentum going into the end of last season.
Just got very unlucky in the Crew game.
Yeah, they won the first game and they should have gone through, and Crew turned them over at their place. But
yeah,
you know, freak results happen in football, especially in League Two. But one player like that can make such a difference to your team. You get 20. If you get guaranteed you're going to get 25, 30 goals a season, and you know other players are going to chip in with double figures.
Yeah,
you can easily outscore a lot of teams 4-3, 4-2, 5-3.
And he doesn't really. You never hear he's had a bad injury.
No.
So it's like, why not? You know, they signed him for nothing. He was released from Hull. So it's like, well, why not?
He'll do well in that league.
Yeah.
Physical, balls in the air.
He's like Paul Mullen.
He'll do very well.
Mm. But as we say, Paul Mullen, we're now going to go on to League One, which we decided to do together. So I've gone with the task of transfers.
Yeah.
Had a look. There wasn't, that I would say, really massive standout players. The teams have all been busy. They've all signed. You know, some clubs have signed 5. Some clubs have signed a whole new squad.
I think Wrexham picking up their goalkeeper from last season on
from Wrexham picking up Arthur Akongwa.
How many times did you have to say that in front of
Once.
me to get it right?
Once, because I've watched documentaries, so I listen to it every time.
I don't believe that for a second.
Arthur Akongwa.
Second.
So they signed him on a free as well from his loan. Arsenal.
Yeah.
They didn't pay anything for him.
And really good signing.
Yeah, especially replacing Ben Foster. Really, really good signing for Wrexham. So that. But transfer wise, when we looked, there wasn't many moves.
It's still quite early though, isn't it?
It's still really early, and Euros are still going on.
To be fair, most clubs have only just announced their to be released lists, and that's especially like some players coming out of Premier League youth teams and players coming out of the Championship. You would expect them to fill. A lot of League One clubs tend to fill their squads with these players because it's not that big of a step down, and there's still that chance that they can go straight back to the Championship. So it tends to be where the majority of them tend to fill their squads from. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that.
So you've gone with sort of who's going up, who's going down.
So of the teams that got relegated from Championship last season, you've got Birmingham, Huddersfield and Rotherham. And to be honest,
I forgot about Rotherham.
Yeah. Birmingham are the absolute odds-on favourites to go straight back up, to the point where I was looking, when I was putting this together, I was looking at the betting odds and I'd seen something I'd never seen before, which was Birmingham's odds are 1-1. Literally, if you put money on Birmingham, you are making nothing back. You get what you put in, and I've never seen a set of odds. Normally you see like 13-10 or 1-2 or stuff like that.
Yeah.
To be literally 1-1, I can't say I've seen that before. I think Rotherham will struggle. They struggle badly in the Championship.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to struggle in League Two. I don't necessarily have them coming down at this point, but I do fancy them for a bottom half finish. They struggle to score goals. They struggle to clean sheets.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost set the record for most losses in the season. So, I don't kind of fancy them. So promoted wise, I have gone with Birmingham. They've got they've got past the troubles of last season when they had 4 different managers. The Wayne Rooney experiment didn't work. They've got a manager in that understands the league, understand what the players need to do. They've a bit like Derby. They're past their financial problems, but they're a little bit more stable wise because they've got a bigger commercial income than what Derby have.
And also, have you seen the American owners have got plans to build a 60,000 seat stadium?
Yeah, they want to become the biggest club in the Midlands to rival Aston Villa. And to be fair, it is if they can start playing the football that starts bringing in the supporters, because they half fill to 3/4 fill their stadium anyway.
Yeah.
So they'll end up with one of the biggest attendances in League One, which really helps them from a PSR kind of point of view. I've gone for Bolton next. You know, just missed out kind of last season. They'll recruit well. They've kept the core of their team together, and I do fancy them to go straight up automatically this season. Yep. And my playoff winners have gone for a bit of a punt, I guess. I've gone for Wrexham. I just, I mean, teams are not going to want to go to the racecourse ground with 20,000 people in it. It's enclosed. They're on top of you. They'll recruit well because they've got the biggest budgets. They can attract some of the bigger players. So as we said earlier, taking the goalkeeper is massive.
Oh, Arthur Pongwa.
Yeah, that guy. He's worth probably 10 points alone.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Which in a playoff scenario, in a pressured scenario, I think will stand them in pretty good stead. The rest of my kind of playoff teams are all for Charlton, Huddersfield, and Peterborough. Realistically, either Huddersfield or Peterborough could probably go up as playoff winners.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd go for Wrexham and just take it at that point, really. Kind of coming down, teams that came up from League Two last season were Stockport, Wrexford, Mansfield, and Crawley. I fancied Stockport and Mansfield to set themselves in League One. They were all three of those teams were fairly close together. I fancied them to establish themselves. They're not at risk as such in terms of coming down.
There's one team you got in relegation I do not agree with.
Yeah, I was getting to that. See, it's why we love our debate. We don't always agree. So I have got Crawley to go back down.
Yeah.
They were unfancied to get into the playoffs and start off with. They were supposed to be falling out of League Two based on start season predictions. Talking about momentum, they've got really good momentum coming through to the end of the season. Absolutely annihilated MK Dons by playing that way. And then did a really, professional job in the playoff final. Yeah. But when you decide to release most of the team,
they've released. Their goalkeeper went yesterday.
Yeah. I think of the 22-man squad they had last season that got them up, they've got like 4 left.
Yeah, majority have gone.
Have gone. So, well done on getting us there. Goodbye, see you later.
Yeah.
I don't understand what their ownership group have done, but they are coming straight back down. They will be bottom. I'm not going to say they're going to finish on the lowest points in that league, but don't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah.
Please, Crawley fans, don't shoot me. I grew up in Crawley. And I understand the club.
They got Blackpool first game.
Yeah, they have.
At home, it's Blackpool.
Yes. It's you talk about kind of setting season markers. If that ends, it's going to end badly, and I think it'll just run through for the rest of it. Rest of my relegation candidates, I've got Burton, Shrewsbury, and Leyton Orient.
No. No.
I was waiting for that.
I just don't see it. Leyton Orient,
they've struggled.
But last season they went 15 games without conceding a goal.
Yeah, but where do they finish?
It's all mid-table.
Exactly. It's all well and good going 15 games without conceding a goal. If you can't put the ball in the net, you're not going to win football matches. They're not going to repeat that this season. I'm sorry, but they're not. They still have a trouble scoring goals. They're still going to have problems putting teams away, and they're not going to keep 15 clean sheets in a row. It's not going to happen. They will go down.
See, last week's episode, it was me stirring the pot. It's him stirring the pot this time.
And you still stirred the pot with Salford. Don't even give me that. Don't even go there. Your Salford prediction is far more out of their field than my Leyton Orient one.
You should have heard my original intro.
Well, yeah, there is that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I can't pick Orient. I agree with the 3 that you said, but no, Orient, no, they're not going down. I'll have to have a look at League One because I'm not entirely sure who else there is, sort of club-wise. But going up, I would say Birmingham, Bolton, Huddersfield.
Yeah, case, as I said earlier, case can be made for that. I've just gone for Wrexham, but Huddersfield could quite easily go off as player winners, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I really wouldn't. Wrexham
playoffs, they'd be in the playoffs with Charlton, Reading, Peterborough.
Just wonder if Reading have got past this kind of tension with the owner and stuff in the squad. Well, you were there last season.
I was there last game of the season.
You kind of saw it firsthand, didn't you?
Yeah. I got to admit, the fans outside, there wasn't any protests, but you could tell there was.
I still feel there's a lot of discontent and disconnect between the ownership and the fan base, and that's
because the owners weren't there at the last game.
No, but
where I was sitting, you could see where they would sit, and it was empty. I mean, the ground wasn't a sellout; the ground was still pretty empty. But
that's where I think it will hurt them this season, because they've got a big ground. They normally do get a lot of people through the door, but the fans are kind of, to a degree, they're voting with their feet.
Yeah,
and I just think it's going to hurt them in terms of the caliber of player that they're going to be able to attract, because no one's going to want to go to Reading at the moment. If you got the choice between going to Reading and, I don't know, for argument's sake, Mansfield, probably going to pick Mansfield, because you're not going to have that atmosphere and that issues and be concerned whether they're going to be hit with an administration deduction, which could easily happen again this season if they can't get the people through the turnstiles and the money coming into the club.
That's the other club I was going to say. Not Orient going down. Wigan.
They'll be bottom half.
Yeah,
I don't think there won't be relegation, but they'll be bottom half.
Yeah, but so that is our predictions for Championship to League 2. If you agree with me, then just say in the comments. If you agree with him,
thanks.
Then put in the comments if you agree, disagree, because we'd love to hear from you.
And anyone wants to tag Gary Neville and say what's this got to go down, feel free. I would love to hear that rebuttal.
And Rory Jennings. Off-white boxing ring. I'll be there. Don't worry about that. I'll train. Heavyweight.
Super heavyweight.
Yeah, all right. You get older, you put weight on. You're 40, remember? So
thanks for that.
That's all right. Also, I think I'll say this next bit now, because it's quite. What am I like on Twitter? Sorry, X.
Yeah, I mean you're pretty vocal.
I sort of jump to teams that put stuff, don't I?
You do, yeah. You've got quite a relationship with quite a number of teams and
clubs. Yeah. I could be potentially becoming manager of a team in the South Combination Div 2.
You've applied for it. Anyway.
I've applied. Said would they take a punt on someone who wants to get into management as his first job?
30-year-old ginger man has never seen the inside of a football dugout. Yeah, great one.
I'll take 30. I'll take that.
I'll take being 40 over being ginger. Just saying.
I'm just waiting to hear. So I could be becoming a football manager potentially.
Well, if that doesn't happen, where are we first weekend of the season?
So first week of the season after getting back from holiday, we are QPR in the morning, and then Leighton Orient.
Yeah,
5:30. Leighton Orient.
Yeah, let's not lynch me before I get in the stadium, mate. Thank you very much.
So yes, that is.
Do I need to wear a disguise to go to that game?
Yeah. Yeah, you really do. You need to wear an orange shirt. Show your support of them not going down.
What? So if I put relegated 24, 25 on the back of it, yeah.
I'm not defending you. I'm not getting lynched. I'm going to record. So yes, and we'll be back next season with the videos each and every week, every Saturday, Sunday if there's games, and potentially midweek games as well.
Yeah.
We've got Lewis Crawley coming up on the 16th of July.
16th of July, yeah.
And then I am at Bognor Pompey, and I've heard Pompey are bringing
squad.
Near enough full strength squad.
Well, it won't be too far away from the start of their season, will it? To be fair, if you're getting towards kind of the end of July, it's probably the point where they want to get some at least 45 minutes in a large majority of their first team squad. Yeah,
so I'm going to try and grab a chat with Robbie Blake again as well.
That'll be good.
I'm going to drop him a tweet and see if he comes back and can have a quick chat. I'll put a few feelers out to Eastbourne about going there and doing a video about the club and history and everything. Romford as well. We're talking, and then yes, I've got Belgium coming up, which I'm waiting for their fixtures to come out. Germany, plus going to see 2 other YouTubers that I know over there, and they work with Hertha Berlin on match days, so that'd be good. And Scotland.
Yes, we want to do a game up there, don't we?
Yeah, it's cheaper to fly to Scotland than it is to Manchester.
That's a joke.
So yeah, so going to try and get some Rangers, Celtics, Hearts, those sort of games in, and then
try and get like a. Yeah, I think the idea is to try and get kind of a derby game, isn't it? Whether it's a Tyne and Wear derby.
It's trying to get Old Firm, but you just not get tickets.
It depends on what they do with the away, because the away fan allocation last season was cut away, wasn't it? They didn't have any away fans, and it was only the very last Old Firm derby after the league split they had like 100 fans. So I don't know how that works, but 2 English people in a stadium full of Scots would stick out like a sore thumb. So
I sort of blend a little with some ginger.
You just tarnish an entire country right there.
Yeah, sorry about
that. You guys talk about me getting lynched if I go to Lake Norrie. What about you? You ain't going to get out the airport.
Get lynched to get off the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we're going to go to Wales as well. But yes, and then Sunday we'll be back with the Euros one.
Got some surprises results there.
And I'm going to go live with that. So we're going to do a live podcast.
Sweet.
So anyone wants to join
live,
in,
raw and unedited.
Watch, exactly. So yeah, so from me, we're going to call it there. Another great episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
We
agree to disagree on a lot of it. So
yeah.
Like everyone's opinions and comments, it'd be great to see what everyone's thinking.
Absolutely. And over time, I have got probably about 3 guests that are going to be coming on podcast. One of them is Matt the Groundhopper. So that'd be good to get him that I met.
Interesting to hear his season predictions, whether he agrees with you or not.
Yeah, we'll go that and ask.
I'm going to ask him straight up.
Yeah, we'll ask about that and see what he thinks. But until Sunday, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And again, thank you and enjoy. I think that will